how to identify eggs, and so if we see eggs, we know we're queen right. Yeah? There's an exception to it. As soon as you got it figured out, then the bees throw you for a loop. Right, so we've got a lane worker. So what's the difference between a lane worker and a drone layer? So a queen that is no longer laying fertilized eggs, we would refer to as a drone layer, a drone lane queen. Lane worker, you saw the eggs in the colony when the queen was still in the cage. Where did that come from? If I got a queen in there, it's probably lane workers. So the worker bees, if there's something wrong with the queen, as a last-ditch effort to contribute to the gene pool out there, are going to lay drone eggs. They can only lay unfertilized eggs, drones, but those drones are viable. They can mate with other queens, and they can still contribute to the bee population now. So that can happen. There's a couple of indicators, though, whether we've got a drone laying queen or laying workers. If you look in the cells, you'll see multiple eggs when it's a lane worker. They don't pick up on the scent in the pheromones, the smell of things as well when they're laying eggs, and so sometimes they'll repeatedly lay an egg in the same cell. Quite often you'll see them in the same cell, and there'll be other cells around it that are empty, but there's some cells that have a bunch of eggs. So if we see multiple eggs in a cell, it's a good chance that there's lane workers. Now there's exceptions to that too. Oh, we figured it out. Now we're not queen right. We've got lane workers because there's multiple cells. Well, sometimes when the new queens are just getting started, they haven't got a hang of it yet. The first week or two, they start laying eggs. Sometimes you'll see 2 and 3, and even older queens. Sometimes will make a mistake and you'll see a couple of eggs in there. But if you see half a dozen eggs in there in a cell, lying down all different which way, and they're not necessarily in the bottom of the cell. Some of them are stuck to the side because a worker doesn't have as long an abdomen. She can't lay the egg that's right down in the bottom of the cell. There's little cues like that will help you identify what's going on. Here's something to keep in mind. This can vary 2 weeks until a lane worker. So if that queen of yours that was trapped inside the cage couldn't get out, the bees for whatever reason didn't chew through the marshmallow or the candy plug, or the cork didn't get removed for whatever reason, there was some obstruction and she couldn't get out of there. If she was in there for 2 weeks, the bees are going to about give up. They're going to know they got a queen there, but the queen's not doing what she should. We don't have any resources to supersede because there's no fertilized eggs anywhere in the colony. So they're going to start laying drone eggs. Lane workers will start laying. And that usually happens about 2 weeks. Not always. Sometimes they'll go a little longer. They'll hang in there for longer. Sometimes it happens even sooner. But that's about the indicator, about the time frame. So why 2 weeks? It matches up with how long it takes to raise a new queen. If the colony went queenless, or if they swarmed, or for whatever reason, they're raising a new queen, it takes 2 weeks for a new queen to emerge. And so if there's not a new queen that's coming up and ready to go in 2 weeks, then the bees usually know, okay, something's up. We've got to do something, or it's all over. So that's about the time frame. You don't want to leave a queen in a cage more than 2 weeks. You want to get her out of there sooner than